For this video, I take 4th Street from the Downriver suburbs into downtown Detroit. In Metro Detroit, Downriver is classified as a group of blue-collar suburbs that make up the southern part of the region. It's a fairly large area, however 4th Street goes through the heart of Downriver, and it gives you a good idea on what the area is like. Before I-75 was built, 4th Street was the main route to connect these suburbs with downtown. Make sure to drop a like for that amazing insight. Also make sure to leave a comment and subscribe if you haven't already, as doing all of those things helps these videos destroy the evil monster that is the YouTube algorithm. Also make sure to hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time that I upload a new video. If you enjoyed this video, then you might enjoy checking out some of the featured playlists on this channel. Videos on other places like what you'll see here can be found in my Detroit playlist, my Detroit Suburbs playlist, or in my Michigan playlist. Last but not least, if you can't get enough of me on here, you can always go follow me on my other social media accounts, and those links are below. The first city that we go through is Trenton, and you could argue that this is the nicest city that we go through in this video. Not to say that the rest of Downriver is terrible, but the area is not highly affluent like other suburbs are further north. You can see the economic stats of Trenton here. Trenton and pretty much all of the other Downriver suburbs are basically your good old boy and gal, hard-working middle-class suburbs. Niche.com ranks the public schools in Trenton as a B+, so that's not bad, and the crime rates are well below the national average rates.
Wait, you're telling me that there are safe areas to live near Detroit? That can't be true.
Yes, it's true. In fact, there are more areas in Metro Detroit to live in that have low crime rates than areas that have high crime rates. It's really just most residential areas within the city of Detroit and a few ghetto suburbs that aren't considered to be great. Considering that Trenton has pretty good economic stats and is a pretty safe community to live in, it's not even considered to be among the most desirable areas to live in Metro Detroit, and you can see that with a low median value of owner-occupied housing units. I would say that it's probably among the most desirable Downriver suburbs to live in, but despite the population decline of the city of Detroit, the metro area as a whole has not seen the same population decline, despite popular belief. So the next time that somebody tells you that they're from the Detroit area, don't automatically assume,
"Oh, 8 Mile Road, what a badass."
Because the whole area is not like the city of Detroit, people. Can't tell you how many times I've heard that. With over 4 million people living in Metro Detroit, only 15% of the region's population lives in the city of Detroit, so associating the entire metro area economically with the city is an incomplete way to view the region. The only county that has experienced population loss in Metro Detroit in the same way that the city has is Wayne County, in which all of Downriver is a part of, and so is the city of Detroit. The other two main counties that make up the Tri-County area that some people refer to as is Oakland and Macomb County further north. Neither of those counties have experienced population decline ever. One other thing about 4th Street and Downriver is that once a year during the last Saturday in June, the road turns into a stage as Cruisin' Downriver brings out the red carpet for all of the area hot rod owners, similar to the larger event in Oakland County called the Woodward Dream Cruise. If you're into that sort of thing, make sure to check out my video on the Woodward Dream Cruise to get a good idea on what that's like. We're now in Riverview, sort of, and we won't be for long. Riverview is another hard-working middle-class city in Downriver, and you can see that the economic stats largely mimic those of Trenton, with Trenton measuring in slightly better in just about every category for whatever that's worth. Niche.com ranks the public schools in Riverview as a B, and just like with Trenton, Riverview's crime rates are pretty low.
You had a typo on the year. It's not the year 2020, it's 2021.
Oh yeah? You think so? Go ahead and look at those gas prices. Yeah, this was filmed in 2020. That's right, people. I've been hiding this video from you for a year. Now we're in Southgate, and the economic stats are once again slightly lower than the previous city that we drove through. As we get closer to Detroit, the economic stats will continue to get closer towards what they are in the city of Detroit. Southgate is also the largest city by population that we've gone through so far in this video, and Niche.com ranks the public schools in Southgate as a C+, so those could be better. The crime rates in Southgate are still pretty good, as they're just below the national average rates. And to the east is the city of Wyandotte, which has lost a significant amount of population from its peak. Fort Street doesn't go through the heart of Wyandotte, so you can't see much other than the strip of retail along this main drag, but it's the first city that we go through in this video that has experienced a drastic population loss. Going with the same trend that we've been seeing, the economic stats are slightly worse in Wyandotte than that of Southgate. Niche.com ranks the public schools as a B-. The biggest positive is that the crime rates are still pretty low, being lower than that of the national average rates. Now we go through Lincoln Park, which is the only city in this video that we pass through that has seen a population increase between the 2010 and 2020 U.S. Census counts. With that said, the economic stats continue the trend of being less impressive, as the poverty rate is 20%, meaning that 1 out of every 5 Lincoln Park residents live in poverty. That's not good. Niche.com ranks the public schools in Lincoln Park as a C, so those could be better too. The violent crime rate here is twice than the national average rate. However, the property crime rate seems to be right around average. You may have noticed that we haven't hit any red lights. Many of these main Michigan left corridors through Metro Detroit have traffic lights synced up in a way where if you drive the speed limit or just above it, you'll hit green lights the whole way through. It allows people to travel through much quicker. Many cities have timed traffic lights on their one-way streets through the downtown areas, but I have yet to come across the same system set up through a larger suburban area like I've seen it in Metro Detroit. And if you don't know what a Michigan left is, they're mostly used on roads like this with a wide grassy median. For example, if you want to turn left to head west onto one of these cross streets while heading north on Fort, you'll have to make a U-turn at one of the designated turnaround areas and then make a right turn to head west. The strategy is used across the entire state of Michigan in an attempt to limit accidents at busy intersections. It often will confuse people from other states as it's not implemented much elsewhere. Uh-oh, now we're in Big Bad Detroit. Alright, well if you've been following along to my channel, you'll remember me making videos on the Oakwood Heights and Boynton neighborhoods, which is where we are currently, as the massive Marathon oil facility is to the left. Make sure to check out my Detroit playlist if you want to see more in-depth videos on these neighborhoods. This neighborhood wasn't always so empty, but today it's empty more so because of all of the nearby industrial pollution rather than the other problems that have plagued Detroit for decades. And here's the Fort Street Bascule Bridge over the Rouge River, one of the very few of its kind in the state of Michigan. Now we're going through the mostly abandoned Delray neighborhood, another place in Detroit that I've made a video on. Make sure to check out that video to learn more about Delray, as it's one of the emptiest parts of Detroit. Delray at its peak was home to 24,000 people, but today it's home to only 1,800. One fact about Detroit is that the city has spoke streets. The name spoke streets comes from the appearance of the spokes on a bicycle wheel. All 5 of these spoke streets meet in downtown at Campus Martius, and this is due to the original design of the street layouts for the city when it was rebuilding from the fire that destroyed the original city back in 1805, which was similar to the fire that destroyed Chicago. Only when Chicago's fire happened, Chicago was much bigger than Detroit was, and the Great Chicago Fire occurred 60 years later in 1871 after the city was more established, so actually maybe not like that one. Another fact is that Fort Street is actually named after Fort Shelby, which used to be located where the intersection of Fort and Shelby Streets are in downtown. Fort Shelby played a big role in the War of 1812. Yeah, all kinds of abandoned storefronts and warehouses along this stretch of Fort Street. Looks sad. Like all of the streets that lead to Campus Martius in downtown, you at least get spectacular views of the skyline. Well, there it is, all 22 miles of 4th Street in Metro Detroit, and we only hit 2 red lights along the way. Pretty impressive. If you enjoy this video, make sure to check out my Detroit playlist, my Detroit Suburbs playlist, or my Michigan playlist, where you can find other videos on places like what you saw here. We'll see you next time. Peace.